Here are 40 things every Titan player should know. And even if you don't play Titan, most of the things on this list are important to keep in your back pocket just in case. Like, did you know that you can survive a Fist of Havoc super and a Thundercrash when standing on the opposite side of a barricade? A regular barricade has a total of 600 hit points and is most vulnerable to special ammo weapons. Even though Fighting Lion indicates that it takes primary ammo, the game actually registers it as special ammo when trying to shoot Titan barricades, thus doing more damage to them. If an opponent walks into your barricade, it will take them down to 1 HP, but it will never kill them, even if they're already at 1 HP and they continuously stand in the shield. This includes opponents in their supers as well, which can be a really good tactic to try and bait roaming supers. Activating your barricade allows you to go into a third-person point of view, which can give you some valuable information on where your opponents are. Activating your shoulder charge from behind the wall can also give you a third-person point of view as well. During the animation of popping your barricade, there is a small immunity period where you take minimal to no damage, allowing you to survive many things, including sniper headshots. You can create a bit of forward momentum when activating your barricade, allowing you to launch yourself farther into a lane. Since the barricade has a natural curve to it and not just a straight wall, you can actually activate it through a physical object and have it pop out on the other side and still damage an opponent. Dune Marcher's exotic perk, Linear Actuators, can activate off of a normal melee, shoulder charge melee, and even a Fist of Havoc super light attack. Linear Actuators sends an arc static charge for 50 damage up to 12 meters away. When using a shotgun with the perk 1-2 punch, you can absolutely delete majors and champions when activating and then shoulder charging. And if you want to take this to another level, throw on Peregrine Greaves, as it can add almost 300% more damage to your shoulder charge if activated in the air. Shoulder charge is arguably the best movement mechanic in the game right now. It's perfect for crossing lanes, changing angles, and leaving problematic situations. Though, as of Season 21, it will cost you 15% of your melee energy each time you activate it. Each shoulder charge on each subclass has a specific nuance. Arc shoulder charge blinds targets upon impact. Void will suppress, and Solar will do burn damage. You can switch your class ability from thruster to shield and not lose your charge. This is great for if you need to switch really quick to get a revive in trials. When you pair your Void shoulder charge with Dune Marchers and Controlled Demolition, you can, in rare situations, one-shot entire enemy teams that are clustered too close to each other. Shoulder charge also has built-in knockback, which means you can hit people out of wells and bubbles, removing them from the safety of those supers. If timed correctly, you can actually shoot your shotgun at an opponent and follow it up with a shoulder charge, given that you still had your shoulder charge available at the beginning of the engagement. You're actually not as safe as you think standing behind a Titan barricade. While it can stop hit scan weapons as well as projectiles, you can still take explosive damage from the front of your barricade even though you might be completely behind it. Grenade launchers and grenades are among those capable of doing this. Rally barricades are a great way to prevent incoming flinch for both PvP and PvE. And while you can still be headshot while crouched behind the middle of your barricade, you can actually move to either of the sides of the barricade where the wall is higher to fully conceal yourself. When activating Ward of Dawn, all of your abilities get refreshed. So if you want to maximize your kit, use your abilities right before you pop your super. Before you activate your Thundercrash super, if you shoulder charge, you can actually increase the velocity at which you fly during your super. You can also enhance this by using the Ballistic Slam melee and then launching into your Thundercrash, all without consuming your Ballistic Slam charge. Speaking of Thundercrash, you can innately fly by targets and kill them without actually hitting the ground. Just know that your flight path within your super will steadily start descending to the ground the longer you stay in flight. So you may have heard that Heart of Inmost Light got nerfed, right? Well, maybe not quite to the extent that you thought it might have with this new mod system. If you want to regen health and get over 1000% faster grenade regen in PvE, yes, I'm being serious, then check out my friend Castle's video. It's super concise, really detailed, and breaks down every part of the build in a very simple way. And give him a sub while you're over there. If you aren't already aware, Antaeus wards are kinda nuts. If timed correctly, you can slide through enemy barricades without taking any damage. You can also tank an entire enemy Thundercrash and survive, though you'll likely take a little bit of damage from the aftershocks of the super. If you are facing an annoying Titan ape using Jug Shield or one of those pesky glaive players that likes to block, just pull out your trusty Divinity. They suddenly become much more squishy once the cage activates. Anti-barrier weapons are innately stronger than non-anti-barrier weapons when shooting Titan barricades. This is important to know since you no longer need to apply anti-barrier mods for the specific weapons. They are passively activated just by selecting them on your artifact mod. There are ways for you to survive a Thundercrash when using your bubble, but it will require some good timing and knowledge of where your opponent is coming from. A Thundercrash will always destroy the bubble if it lands inside of it. However, you can survive the super if you end up placing yourself on the outside of the bubble while the Thundercrash lands inside the bubble, and vice versa. The Cataclysm Nova Bomb super will blow up the bubble and the people inside, so you want to make sure that you're placed outside of the bubble on the opposite side of the Warlock. For Blade Barrage, you can play it a couple of different ways. One way is to stand on the outside of the bubble opposite of the opponent. The second way requires you to have a few teammates around, but they may have to sacrifice themselves. If one or even both teammates jump outside of the bubble while the Blade Barrage is active, it will obviously focus some of the knife spread towards them. That means there will be fewer knives to focus on destroying the bubble, which could end up not completely destroying the bubble. This can be especially useful in trials or competitive when trying to cap a zone to win a round. Standing behind a barricade can prevent you from being suspended by the hunter aspect and snaring slam. If you're using Strand Titan in PvP and you are using weapons that have the surplus perk, you could unbind your auto melee keybind and change that to uncharged melee so that you don't use any of your 3 melee charges. This is an easy way to ensure that you always have at least 3 stacks of surplus at any given time. On the other hand, the charged melee lunge is a pretty good tool for movement and going into a third-person point of view. Keep this in mind with the changes to shoulder charge as of the start of Season 21. Suspend actually has a pseudo-suppress mechanic. Whenever you're suspended, not only can you not aim down sights, but you can't use any abilities for the time that you're suspended. There is a very small window where you can suspend someone mid-animation of their super and it will prevent them from activating their super. It will not take their super away from them, but can be very useful against a Warlock trying to pop their Well of Radiance. The suspend wave on the Titan Barricade can clip through thin walls, which can be incredibly useful in a well-organized team comp. Though it should be noted that it can be a little difficult to execute kills when you're solo due to the limited time enemies remain suspended in PvP. Oh, and one more thing.